Keep or toss? Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. It is time for me to purge my collection. I have too many things, so I'm going through my collection and I'm getting rid of albums whose covers don't appeal to me. So as I've stated before, I don't have a lot of space, so I'm changing my collection to artistic pieces because even if I don't often listen to the albums, I can appreciate the art and I could rotate them through my displays. I have pulled about 200 albums that I need to get rid of in some form, but I feel guilty because I know that some of them I've never even listened to. So I'm going to take some time today and I'm going to go over these 3 albums and I'm going to give my initial impressions before I listen to them, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a decision whether I need to toss these or if I need to keep them in some form. So the first album is going to be Jose Feliciano's album. I think it's just called, I think it's self-titled or eponymous. And it's from 1981. And it's got some interesting names associated. For example, he does a cover version of I Second That Emotion, which was partly written by Smokey Robinson. On side 1, he writes one song, which is a strange one, Let's Make Love Over the Telephone. So phone sex. That's going to be interesting. On side 2, there's a song co-written by Doc Pomus. And then there's another song on side 2 that is co-written by Jose Feliciano. And this is a Motown record, and it was co-produced by Berry Gordy. So let's see how that one goes. The next one is Gene Loves Jezebel, and that is Immigrant. So this album doesn't have much information on the back. It is from 1985, and the inner sleeve, not too bad, but not that great. It's just... And then finally, Jay Ferguson. Now, I believe he's important in that he wrote a lot of songs that other people covered. I just don't know too much about him. This album is called Real Life Ain't This Way, and this one is from Elektra. It's a nice... kind of a nice... I'm back, jumping in the studio. Maybe he's happy he finished recording the album. Oh, this one is a bit earlier. This one is from 1979. So maybe he's going to be taking advantage of the punk new wave. But of course, it was also the tail end of disco. So who knows what I could hear when I put this one on. So the one side of the sleeve is a photo, which is nice, and the other side is the lyric. So I'm going to make a pledge to listen to these 2 times, and maybe one of those times I will listen to the read through with the lyrics if they're available. I will be back later to give my judgment. Okay, how to describe Jose Feliciano's album from 1981? First off, it was kind of what I expected. So it was 1981, and I knew it was going to be ballady in some way, and it was. It also had disco and funk tinged. Most people are not going to like this album. The first time I was listening to each side, I was kind of going, ugh. Can't be right there now, girl. The telephone makes me feel good somehow. Making love. But by the second time, I had grown used to the songs and I was starting to enjoy them. Everybody loves me. So I'm not going to say it's totally awful. If you hear the clips and you initially don't like them, you obviously should stay away from this album. But if you're curious, I would say give it a try. You don't have to worry, 'cause it's definitely of its time, and some of the lyrics are cringy. For example, Find Yourself, the singer is basically saying, hey, I love you so much, but until you love yourself, then you aren't open to love. And as soon as you do that, then I will be here for you. And it'll be great once you do that. That's something I won't be denied. So there's a lot of like love songs and ballads, you know, exactly what you would expect. But what I am going to say is, you cannot deny that this guy can sing. He has got such a powerful voice. Now, like I said before, he does a version of I Second That Emotion, and let's go ahead and hear a clip of that.
Give me kisses sweet, but only for a night with no repeat.
And then there was another song that I didn't realize that the next song right after it is Ain't That Peculiar. And as I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I know that song too. And that was also written by Smokey Robinson. So I hope that's Smokey Robinson because it's William Robinson Jr. And I'm just assuming that's Smokey Robinson since, he was a songwriter and he worked for Motown. But I could be totally wrong. So the final verdict on the Jose Feliciano. Am I going to keep it? So when I looked on Discogs, the album is available for around $3. So it's probably a pretty common record that most people don't want. However, it is not available in CD format. So I think for that reason, I'm going to hang on to this album. And later, if I do another purge, then this one might be one of the ones that goes. So the second album I listened to today was Immigrant by Gene Loves Jezebel. And from beginning to end, this album was really, really nice to listen to. I would put it in the modern rock type goth 80s. And I think I had even known one of the songs, which was Cow. I think I had that on a compilation at some point. That track just stood out to me as I was listening to the album. But what I'm going to say overall is that the songs from beginning to the end, they kind of flow together. They just create this kind of musical landscape that is really nice to listen to. The songs are hard to differentiate, so when I was going to make snippets to insert, it was hard for me to like, oh, this one was really good, or oh, this one was better than this one. They just, as you listen to the album, it's pleasant from beginning to end. Both sides. I would highly recommend this album. I would say it's a 4 out of 5. I didn't go over the lyrics with this one because the lyric sheet wasn't included. So am I going to keep this one? No, even though I really like it, it is easily available on CD and there's a deluxe edition. It's on Discogs, it's between $5 and $10. So even though I really enjoyed it, it's not something I'm going to enjoy displaying. And if I had the CD, I would probably listen to it more than I would the vinyl, just because I have other things on vinyl that I like more. I listened to side one of this album, and it was so interesting that I decided to break it down. So this is definitely 70s rock. So the first song is called Shakedown Cruise, and you're going to hear Styx. Now this song is, I guess, about some people who get either shanghaied or hijacked on a cruise ship, and the captain won't let them go. I don't know why. But he says, it was 30 days around the horn. The captain says it's 35 more. Now, there are some fun lyrics in this song. Lord, they treat you like a dog, but you're only human. You miss your home. Lord, you miss that woman. The captain laughs. He says, you boys want some sex? You can squeeze the sails. You can lick the decks. Now, the second song has a little bit of problematic lyrics. It's about no secrets. There's a guy whose friend or somebody he knows, his friend is in a restaurant and someone overhears him talking about trying to get his woman. And so he confronts him. And this is problematic because it treats women like animals. So he says, I'm not surprised to see you hanging around with my baby, but you can't buy her time. She isn't that kind. If you think I don't know, you're crazy. And the worst of it is, well, I heard some people talking at another table, and they said that you had designs on my girl. Gonna add her to your stable. You had designs on my girl. Gonna add her to your stable. So I think the third song on this album, on this side, is my favorite. It's called Real Life Ain't That Way, and it has pretty instrumentation.
But your mind's 1,000 miles away.
The fourth song is called Davy. And since my name is David, I was interested in how he's going to make lyrics with Davy. And he actually does get Davy to rhyme with crazy. So in this song, the narrator seems to be giving advice to someone whose woman is just leading him on. And again, this is a song where women are either treated as saints or whores. In one line, in fact, he says, Davy, she's a witchy lady. Don't let that woman make you crazy.
Witchy lady, don't you let that woman make you crazy. Oh.
The last song on side one is Turn Yourself In. And this one seems to be another confrontational song where a person is confronting someone for being two-faced. He says, you've got no imagination, you're following fashion, it's taking you nowhere, and it's taking you for all you've got. So I guess they also don't have a mind of, the person doesn't have a mind of his own. He says, who are you gonna fool with that silly grin? What are you trying to hide? Down in every saint, there's a sinner inside.
Who you gonna fool with a silly little grin?
Side 2 of this album starts with Do It Again. This song starts out slow and then gets rocking. It kind of sounds like a Joe Walsh song to me.
So go ahead and wreck my bed, 'cause it can be replaced.
So the narrator of this song is lamenting that his woman wrecked his life. He took everything from her, and he's telling her, you know what? Yeah, you can go ahead and leave what you're planning to do, but before you go, let's just do it one more time. So the second song is Paying Time, and it seems to be about a person who risked everything and lost. Through the middle of the song, it starts at the end where someone is contemplating suicide, perhaps. So the lyrics are, I was down on my knees in a cheap hotel trying to decide on heaven or hell. There's a gun on the table with a bottle of gin.
There's a gun on the table with a bottle of gin.
The third song is Too Late to Save Your Heart. This is a little bit of a slower number, and it seems to be an ex-lover or someone who loves someone, like an unrequited love. The person that they love calls and is telling them about a breakup and crying and, you know, mourning the loss of the other person. But the narrative of the song is just kind of tired of it. Like, why can't that person see the love that they have, for example? And, you know, quit calling me about all your problems, right? I'm getting tired of, you know, hearing about all the relationships that you're messing up, you know, when we could have had a really good relationship. Now, the fourth song seems to be a mashup of two Rolling Stone songs. Now, I'm not going to give a clip of this, because if anything could get me copyright, it's probably something written by the Rolling Stones. I'm not a big fan of Let's Spend the Night Together. Now, I do like the other song, Have You Seen Your Mother, Baby, better. Let's Spend the Night Together was overplayed on the radio, and I don't really much care for it, and this version is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't add anything new to it. The fifth song is called City of Angels. It seems to be about watching women getting, you know, dressed up, picking up your girl, going to the beach, staying out all night. It seems to be about Los Angeles, because it is called City of Angels. And it's a lot about, like, the feelings and sensations. For example, the sea wind blows so cool in our skin, and love is burning hot, and it's night in the City of Angels. You know, that kind of thing. Overall, what did I think about this album? I really enjoyed side one. It has its hiccups. It's got some questionable lyrics, but hey, you know, for the time that it was written, I think that was normal. The side two wasn't as good for me. I would overall give this a 3 out of 5. If you could find this for a couple of bucks and you're interested in late 70s rock, then you should definitely give this a try. So the question is, now that I've listened to it, is it a keeper? I looked, and this is available on CD. And if I could find this for a couple of bucks, I would definitely pick it up. I checked on Discog, and the median price is $2 to $4. For that reason, I'm going to say that no, this is not a keeper. This one will either be going to the record store for trade-in, and if they don't want to take it, then it goes on the curb for someone to pick up for free.